My wife came out here a couple of weeks ago. This thing started to take shape, and she says to me, she says, "Oh, it's looking really beautiful." I thought, really? You think I've been working on this for 10 months because I wanted to build something ugly? You know more about this boat than any other person I know. It got me thinking, when does something become beautiful? One of my favorite lines, absolutely favorite lines of the Old Testament, Jeremiah 1:5. God says to Jeremiah, "I who knew you before you grew in your mother's womb." In the mind of the artist, the one who creates, sometimes things are beautiful before anyone else gets a chance to see the light of day. I used to love asking men this question. I'd say, is beauty in the eye of the beholder, or is beauty only skin deep? I remember one guy telling me, if you tell my wife beauty's only skin deep, you might be in need of an orthodontist. But more commonly, if you ask them if beauty's in the eye of the beholder, without much batting an eye, without thinking, most people say, oh yeah, absolutely. I said, really? You ask any decent husband, save for the most selfish, the most stubborn, the most unrepentant, was your wife beautiful before or after you met her? They'll pause and look at you with this perplexed look like you've just asked them the toughest question in the world. It's not a trick question. I'm not your mother-in-law. I'm not here to trip you up. The point of the matter is she was beautiful before you met her. You are by far not the first person to notice that. And you probably won't be the last. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so then is truth and goodness, and that's a recipe for selfishness and chaos. In fact, you can insist upon those things and soon find yourself delusional. You're out of touch with reality. You have no idea. You're just part of the big lie. Therein lies the problem, right? But when we see beauty, it changes everything. It makes us ask the question of what is life? Begs the most important questions in our lives. It changes us from the inside out. Ask anyone who's ever fallen in love. Seriously, it stops time. Einstein used to say that, by the way. If you want to prove that time is relative, Einstein used to say, spend time in the presence of a beautiful woman. Time stops like that. Why? Beauty. It's real, and it isn't about your judgment of it either. You know, in the Gospel of Mark, there are four personalities, we'll say, that understand what beauty is and why beauty matters in the gospel and the whole of life. There are four who named Jesus Christ the Son of God before the resurrection. If you take the hour and a half to read through it, you'll find them pretty easily. The first is obviously God the Father. Twice he says, "This is my Son with whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him." The baptism and the transfiguration. But in the same chapter, in chapter 1, the demons know who he is. "Who are you, Son of the Most High? Why are you here to mess with us?" I suppose if you're going to have a fight, you should know who your enemy is. And they're scared of him, and they should be. The third person to say he is the Son of God is Peter. He has this extraordinary moment of insight followed by a pretty spectacular fumble. And I expect most of us as husbands, we know that one. There are times where we were less than the gracious husbands, or gracious in the face of beauty as we should have been. And the last one, he's the one that always gets to me, and the one that almost everyone overlooks. And he only really has a voice. In Mark, his last words, he says, "Surely this is the Son of God." He's the same man who murdered him. He nailed his beautiful hands to the cross, nailed his feet to the cross, raised him up, watched him die. In fact, in Mark's gospel, everyone abandons Jesus except for the guy who killed him. As Jesus forgives the world from the cross, conquers death. Dying, he said, he destroys death. This unnamed centurion, this man of many things who followed orders, gave the great confession that reverberates through all of history. The great opposition to beauty is only in the eye of the beholder. He says what becomes clear to any of us who's ever repented, never known the dignity and beauty of grace, never bathed in loveliness. Oh my God, he says, he's the Son of God. I rendered evil for good. I silenced the truth with a lie. I crucified beauty. What have I done? Beauty, it would seem, is not in the eye of the beholder, but if you've ever beheld it, it'll transform you and change you for the rest of your life. Amen.